everyone, and welcome to STEAM Time. My name's Dayna. I am the Buena Vista Branch Manager with Monterey County Free Libraries. Today, we're going to be talking about the A in STEAM. A lot of the times, the A in STEAM can stand for agriculture or art. So today, we are talking about art. In particular, stained glass art with a bit of a winter twist. I'm wearing my cozy snowflake and polar bear PJs today because we're going to be making some winter stained glass art. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about the supplies that you're going to need, as well as what makes stained glass art. How is it created? So stay tuned and we'll get started. Stained glass art, what is it? How is it created? Well, first, take a look at the windows that you have around your house. Most likely, they're just regular glass windows. Well, stained glass windows are created in a very similar way, but with a twist. So glass windows are made when you heat up silica. So you heat up silica to a really high temperature. And stained glass is made in the same way, except they add in metal oxides during the heating process. So they take those metal oxides and they add it in when it's still molten or very hot. And so when those metal oxides are added in with the silica, it produces a spectrum effect of different colors. So we're going to try to take that concept and replicate it in our own way here at home. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about the supplies that we're going to need, and then we're going to jump into our craft project. We just learned about how stained glass art is made, and it is the process of taking silica, which is used to make glass, and mixing in metallic salts or metal oxides, and that's how you get the different colored glass that makes up stained glass windows. And usually, those pieces of colored glass are then arranged in some type of shape or pattern. It could be a figure. Oftentimes you might see angel figures or flowers, depending on what the artist wanted to do. And then those pieces of glass that are making the pattern are then held together by lead. So you'll see the dark piping that holds the panes in place. That's usually made of lead. And then all of that is held together by a frame. Since we do not have the means to create stained glass art ourselves by heating up silica until it's molten, we are actually taking the concepts of stained glass art, where it creates spectrums of different colors when you hold it up to light. That's what we're going to be focusing on today with our winter stained glass art project. You only need a few things for this project. You are going to need clear contact paper. You're going to need 2 sheets of that. If you have black cardstock, that is fantastic. If you don't, black construction paper will be just fine. And then a variety of colors of tissue paper. It could be any colors you like. I just picked ones that I felt were kind of wintry. So some pale blues, grays, light greens, white, and then of course a ruler and some scissors. And that's all you need to create your winter themed stained glass art. So stay tuned and we're going to get started and put our craft project together. Now that we have our supplies gathered, let's talk about how to actually create your stained glass winter art. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut out your frame for your black construction paper or your black cardstock. My cardstock was 12 inches by 12 inches. Use whatever paper that you have on hand. Once you cut out your frame, you're going to want to cut 2 pieces of contact paper 2 inches bigger than your frame. So my frame was 12 inches by 12 inches. So I then cut a piece of contact paper that was 14 by 14. You want to give yourselves a little bit of wiggle room and cut off any excess after you are done. So let me just show you, for the sake of time, I've cut my frame out already. So I have my contact paper, and this is what my frame looks like. You can use a ruler to make sure that the edges of your frame are straight. And then I did something a little bit different. Because traditional stained glass art, the panes and the pieces of glass are held together by lead, so I cut extra construction or black cardstock to create my own lead panels. So what I'm going to do is add different color variations to the panels. So you want to have your black frame cut and 2 pieces of the contact paper. You want to make sure it's clear contact paper. There's matte, and then there's the glossy one. I got matte, but if you do the glossy version, it's not as opaque, so you will be able to see through it a bit better. A tip: contact paper can be very tough to work with to get it to lay flat. If you peel up one edge like this and fold over a flap and set that aside, it'll be much easier to tear off when it comes time to place it on top of your tissue paper. So I'm going to set mine aside. Now that we have our frame, you want to take your first piece of contact paper and you're going to place it on a flat surface, sticky side up. So you want to make sure that you feel that tacky stickiness. Have that facing up and place your black frame on top of it. So it's going to look like this. Now's the time to cut out your tissue paper squares if you haven't done so already. And if you want to tie in some math, you can cut these into 1-inch squares, however big you want them. And you can use a ruler for that. For kids that are a bit younger, I usually have them tear the pieces of tissue paper, or you can practice cutting as well. So all you want to do is begin to take your tissue paper squares and make sure you tear the layers apart. Tissue paper usually comes in 3 layers, so make sure you tear it so it's really, really thin, and you're just going to start laying it, whatever colors you want, on top of your paper. So let me just do a few quickly, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm just taking tissue paper squares, overlapping them, and placing them on top of the sticky contact paper so that they all stick. So let me show you what I've done so far. So you're going to start to get something like that. So for the sake of time, I'm going to continue to work on my stained glass winter art, and I'll be right back to show you the finished product. I have finished putting my tissue paper squares on top of my first piece of contact paper and the frame. I covered the entire surface, and once that was done, I placed the second piece of contact paper on top, smoothed it out so that it would seal everything in. Now, I did do something a bit different. Let me show you. I added some little characters to the bottom. You can do whatever you like. I tried to do a little snowman and a tree, but feel free, you could make snowflakes, anything that reminds you of winter. So what you want to do is, before you put on your tissue paper squares, place those little figures first. Flatten them out on top of your first piece of contact paper, and then add your tissue paper squares on top. I also went ahead and I trimmed the excess contact paper off the edges so that it looks like this. If you have a hole punch, You can put a hole punch right here, add a string, you can hang it, or you could just tape it directly to a window and the colors will pop. If you hang it on a window that has a lot of sunlight coming through, you'll start to see all of the colors pop out. So that's it. That's all we needed to do to create our very own stained glass art. Well, I hope you had fun joining me as we made our own version of stained glass art. If you want to learn more, definitely check out art or STEM books, or even books about stained glass art at your local branch. You can put them on hold through our online catalog at emcfl.org, or by calling your local branch or our phone team at 831-883-7555, and they'd be happy to help you find more books on art crafts like we did today. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep experimenting. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next time.